consumption of sugar, 1700, average person consumed 4 pounds. 1800, 18 pounds per person per year. 1900, 90 pounds, right? And 2009, this is in America, well, Americans 180 pounds sugar per year. That's what goes into your stomach. And that program you saw gave you an indication of what's going into your stomach. And that's exactly the case. Now, what you don't realize is that bone char, which is used to process sugar, is made from the bones of cattle. So, if you're a vegetarian and you eat sugar, well, you're not a vegetarian. Because refined sugar is actually made from bones of cattle, especially from Afghanistan, Argentina, India, Pakistan. The bones are sold, and so on. You can do that for yourself. But the main thing there is that lots of things happen when it is actually refined. Now, what is even worse for the ancestors, that before 1830, bullock's blood was used. Blood. Bullock's blood. Look at your internet and you'll be able to find that that's a fact. And it's interesting that the refiners were religious, so they used a text in the Bible, Leviticus 4:1-5. And in it, there is reference to bullock's blood, which was used for cleansing of sin. Right? The Jews were told to cleanse sin, and bullock's blood was used, and that blood indicated, when it's sprinkled there, in fact it was even drunk, right? To cleanse sins from the individual. So it's important to know that in refined sugar, as we know it, you've got that. But later on I'll tell you that beet sugar does not have the bone char. Beet sugar. But you can't tell. You can't tell because you saw that first slide I showed you, which had sugar cane. So with sugar cane, you get refining and you've got bone char involved in it. And it's mixed up, and they say it helps to refine the sugar, all kinds of things happen. It's carbonated, coloring, and so on. That's a fact. So we move on. I was going to tell you about the text, Leviticus chapter 4. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children. Now, I don't really want to go through the whole text, but I wanted to put it there to you that, the men who were, the chemists who were doing their work felt that bullock's blood was useful, and it worked up until the 1830s. Now, this is where you're going to have some homework here. Not homework, but BCA work. Now, look at your handout, and you'll see that the Caribbean, the West Indies, were uppermost in its production of raw sugar, right? Not refined sugar, raw sugar. Because there was no refined sugar produced in the Caribbean, right? No refined sugar, only raw.
So when you say raw sugar, are you talking about beet sugar, cane sugar, or
Well, I'll come to the beet eventually. Come to the beet. But raw being that it was produced in a certain way in the Caribbean, where, what shall I say, it wasn't for consumption immediately, although you wouldn't die from it. It had to come to Europe or to America to be refined, and it came out in a different way for consumption, because you had to do all kinds of things to it. You got to bone tar and all kinds of stuff to it. You couldn't just use it, because it's not like today you can do lots of mixing and changing. In those days, the sugar could have all kinds of insects in it. I mean, the actual cane juice, when it's put through the various mills and so on, the various stuff in the Caribbean. So it wasn't really as pure. It had to be processed in some way. So looking at this, it's important to note that the West Indies really, they were there in the West Indies.